Hey friends, fans, and superstars, it's Monday, and that means it's countdown day right here on the channel. And this week's question, as voted on by you guys all across social media, had a huge turnout. Hundreds upon hundreds. It was a lot to amass and count for this one. And the question was, who are the top 10 characters who have helicopter modes? Who are the top 10 Transformers with helicopter modes? That's going to be our focus this time around on the latest GotBot Counts Down. Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, man, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you're at it, light them up, baby. Hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton and lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all of the groups that I am either a mod or an admin for. All those links are in the description. Check me out all across social media. Those links also in the description. And of course, if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we offer to you through Teespring. Or of course, hit the join button right here on YouTube, baby. And this one was the top 10 Transformers characters who have helicopter alt modes. And it was a weird, kind of a quirky idea that came up some time ago. I did not expect the mass voting to take place that did take place. This one really caught on for some peculiar reason, and it even went as deep as GoBots. We'll see it all as we go through here. Of course, we're going to do what we always do and start off with the honorable mentions first. Now, the honorable mentions, it's weird. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 honorable mentions. I have 3 more that are honorable mentions, but I'm going to reserve them because they might stand as alternates. The question said characters, which means there are times here we're going to have certain mold reuses. But for anybody who is really nitpicky and saying, well, so-and-so and such are the same mold, I'm going to give you an alternate. We're going to try and fit as many as we can on the list. We'll see as we go through. So, for the honorable mentions, we have, and these ones had all the same amount of votes. Highbrow, we had Energon, Bulkhead, and Obsidian. I was hoping Obsidian was going to get more, but it is what it is, and I'm surprised Highbrow didn't get more. As well in the honorable mentions, we have Unicron Trilogy Cyclonus. I think it's Armada Cyclonus. And last but not least, Rescue Bots Blades. I'm so happy that Blades made it on here. He's a fun character. I like Rescue Bots. I've never had anything against it. So the other 3 that by right should be on the honorable mentions are going to be alternates on the list itself. You'll see how this plays out as we get there. So without any further ado, let's kick things off with number 10 first. Now, number 10 is kind of interesting because this isn't the first countdown that this character has appeared on within the last few weeks. And the last time this character appeared on a countdown, it was too much trouble for me to bother to get a plastic representation of this character. This time around, however, I dug deep and I found it, and I'm talking about Arachnid. When we done the top 10 female characters, Arachnid appeared there. She's a great character. But this plastic representation that came out there in Transformers Prime is awful. This is such trash. The helicopter mode is exponentially better than the robot mode. The robot mode is a disaster. I'm glad to have her because we don't really have another representation. But if there's anybody who really needs an update, man, oh man, it got to be Arachnid. Nevertheless, her helicopter mode is cool enough and enough people thought the same thing that she took the number 10 slot. Number 9 is the newest member of the Aerial Bots with Alpha Bravo. It's so funny, when this guy first came out, everybody said, who is that guy? It's not Slingshot. He's no good. What a waste of plastic. Blah, 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 blah. And now in the aftermarket, he has this cult following, and a lot of people, like, pay through the teeth for him. I mean, he's good. I wouldn't pay through the teeth for him, but he's good. He's a great limb. He is a pretty excellent robot, honestly. He's fun, and he's a tremendous helicopter. Even his hand-foot piece thing can be used in helicopter mode as like a landing base, landing skid type of thing. He's fun. He's functional, and you know what? Enough people like this helicopter mode that he was easily able to solidify himself at the number 9 slot. Number 8 is the beautiful and garish legend in his own mind, Rotor Storm. It's interesting. Some people said that they voted for him because he was a wrecker. I'm not sure if he is or if he isn't. I can never keep track who is and isn't a wrecker. There's a part of me that wants to say he is, and there's a part of me that says he wants to be a wrecker, but he's not officially a wrecker, though he is a legend in his own mind. This is a tremendous mold. This is a tremendous use of it. I love Rotor Storm. He is the epitome of the early 90s, and the paint and the coloration on this guy is glorious. The robot mode is fantastic. One of the best molds of the last few years, and his helicopter mode looks excellent, looks sleek, is also very functional, even if we do have an underslung cockpit because of one of these legs. You don't even really notice it. He's so good that you don't even really notice it. And you know what? Enough people thought the same thing that he easily came in at the number 8 slot. Number 7 is the Protectobots resident helicopter, that being Blades. And this isn't the Rescue Bots Blades. He was in the honorable mentions. This is the Protectobot Blades. Wow, a lot of B's in there, man. Yeah, you know what? I knew Blades was going to be on this early on. I was like, how can he not? How can Blades not be on this now? For the whiners and the complainers that'll say, this is the same mold. And I get it, man. Even though the question was characters, I get it. So I got you back. I got you back, Jack. We're going to also say that there could be an alternate here. If you want, like, something that is a different mold, something that is not this mold, Blades could be replaced with another one that honestly really does kind of deserve a slot on the list. Animated Megatron, man. He was a glorious helicopter. That was such a fantastic offering. I think he had some modes as a plane, but honestly, the helicopter was the best, and I think it's the only time Megatron's been a helicopter and it worked for him. So, for actual votes, Blades takes the slot. If you really want an alternate, you really want a different mold, then Animated Megatron would take the slot. It's up to you how you want to count the list. Officially it's Blades, unofficially it's Megatron. Either way, either one fits in nicely at the number 7 slot. Now number 6 is represented here, ironically, as a character that does not have a helicopter mode, even though originally in G1 he did have a helicopter mode, and in some third-party offerings he's been given his helicopter mode again. I know, oh, that sounds confusing. Who am I talking about? None other than Sandstorm. This is based on that Springer mode. This is fantastic, but it did change his I guess his flight mode into like a VTOL plane, a hover type of plane, whatever, rather than his traditional helicopter mode. But enough people remember his helicopter mode that, you know what, they called back to it fondly and he was able to take the number 6 slot. Is this guy due for an update? Maybe. I don't know. I know that this mode was fantastic, but it wasn't quite G1 accurate. Maybe there's just room enough for this guy to be redone in all of his G1 glory and give us back that wonderful, original, traditional helicopter mode. I know I'd love to see it, and enough people agree with me that this guy easily took the number 6 slot. And here we are once again at that very pivotal, that very important halfway mark. You knew that that was coming, right? This time, at the halfway mark, it's very fitting. One of the earliest helicopters, one of the most memorable helicopters, the resident of the Combaticons Vortex. Now, a lot of people said FOC Vortex, and I can't argue with that because he was a very unique and cool looking helicopter. Odd robot mode, cool helicopter. But yeah, some people said the G1 Vortex as well. Vortex, cool helicopter. Enough said, took the halfway mark. But before we move on, this is another one of those mold reuses. So if you have a problem with Vortex taking the halfway mark, what about Skyhammer as the alternative? Yes, Skyhammer. As a matter of fact, a couple of people said Skyhammer's the only answer. I'm not gonna lie, I know nothing about Skyhammer. I don't know the mold. I've never even seen it. Don't know the guy. But I know he has a cult following, and I know that if Vortex doesn't take the halfway mark, that's a great place for Skyhammer to take. Now the top 4 are all actually pretty close in votes. Well, except number 1. Number 1 really, toward the end, kind of took off and won by leaps and bounds. But it was a close race with the top 4 for a while. It was fun to see. This one I thought was going to get just a little bit higher, but he didn't. Nevertheless, I felt like it was a foregone conclusion that this character was going to appear on the list. Now, this will be one of those mold uses where we're going to have an alternate, and the alternate would not come close to being this high on the list. But I'll mention it now anyway. I'm talking about Spinister. Truth is, the alternate, if anything, should take Rotorstorm's spot from earlier on the list. Spinister coming in at number 4. I thought it was even going to be higher than that. All the excellent things I said about Rotorstorm apply for Spinister as well. So, again, because it's mold reuse, and because I'm just trying to fit as many on as possible, the alternate here would be Cybertron Evac. Also an interesting character and an interesting choice. And while I'm not a Unicron Trilogy fan, it's nice to see that a couple of those characters got some love. It's nice to see that Evac could have been on the list if we were looking at individual helicopter mode types. As it is based on characters, this guy slots in at the number 4, and you know what? He absolutely deserves it. And that brings us to the top 3. And at number 3, everybody's favorite lunatic, I'm talking about Whirl. Again, as soon as I thought about this list, I was like, man, come on, Whirl got to make it. Come on, people, start voting for him. Got to make it. And it was a while before the votes started to roll in for Whirl, but once they did, wow. What a wave, what a tsunami, what a landslide came in for him. He made a push. He was pushing toward number 1, but the time ran out for the voting before he could get there. 2 votes came in after the voting closed. It wouldn't have made a difference to his position here on the list, but you know what? I'm glad that he was able to come in late and go strong enough that he was able to solidify himself quite easily at the number 3 slot. And here at number 2, here's a shock for you. Bayverse. Yeah, baby. Bayverse coming in at number 2 with Blackout. A lot of people voted for Blackout, and a lot of people said he was a cool helicopter. He didn't say anything. He just showed up and he started destroying things. Just like a true blue Decepticon should. Wild, crazy, burly, bulky robot mode. Dangerous. Imposing and intimidating helicopter mode. He easily took the number 2 slot. So who was number 1? You want to know the funny part about number 1? The funny part about number 1 is that I absolutely forgot about this character and forgot that they even had a helicopter alt mode. But once I remembered, I was like, yeah, this dude deserves number 1, man, because it's one of the most popular, one of the most iconic characters, certainly of season 3. I'm talking about Springer. A lot of people pointed out the Generation Springer, and a lot of people pointed out the Siege Springer. So whether you're talking about like a G1 inspiration or a comic book inspiration, Springer, man, Springer, absolutely. I get it. You know what? He's, again, maybe not one of the, well, he is one of the oldest helicopters, but he's definitely one of the best known helicopters. For some reason, I usually think of him in his car mode. I don't know why. Yeah, once he started to take the lead, he never looked back. And you know what? That's probably pretty fitting because of everybody on this list. I would say that the highest profile character probably is Springer. And for that reason, he probably deserves the number 1 slot. And there we go. We've gone from 10 down to 1 once again. We even had a few alternates just to clarify the alternates again in case you missed them. Taking the place of Rotorstorm by rights, though I mentioned it and discussed it with Spinister, but taking the place of Rotorstorm by rights could have been Cybertron Evac. Taking the place of Alpha Bravo probably. Could have been Skyhammer, and taking the place of Blades probably could have easily been Transformers Animated Megatron. Those 3 are great ones. They came really close. They had a huge fan following that voted for them, but it wasn't enough to quite make the list. Remember, this one was characters, not actual like individual helicopter types. I was disappointed though and surprised that certain other characters had the voting go for them the way that they did. Death Cobra only got 1 vote. That blew me away. I mentioned GotBots earlier. I mean, Breeze got 1. Super Warpath, Twin Spin, Wrong Way, Coptor got a few as well. Minicon Jolt got a few. Fly Up got some. Who else got some here? Overrun, Tomahawk got a bunch. Bit of a cult following there as well. Skyburst and Stormclash from the Victorian Torchbearer set. Drift, Movie Drift, almost there, man. Movie Drift, almost there. He had a bit of an impressive run there for a little while. Who else can I throw out here as a name? Rotor and Movie Dropkick. Movie Dropkick made a nice little push. So there you have it. Let me know where your favorites fell. I appreciate you guys coming by. Give me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. You can check us out on Patreon. You can see what we offer to you through Teespring. Or, of course, you can hit the join button right here on YouTube. Become a channel member. Don't forget, somehow, some way, each and every single day, you do make a difference. By the way, 1 person voted for Blaze Master. Not the Micromaster Blaze Master, but the little lad that came with Legends, Thrilling 30s, Bumblebee, the little blue lad. It was nice to see. Again, don't forget, somehow, some way, each and every day, man, you do make a difference. And I look forward, baby, to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams, at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way, right here, inside the videos.